What's going on, guys? Over here, and welcome to some F1 2016 early gameplay of career mode. I was invited kindly to a capture event that Codemasters and the publisher Koch Media were doing at Silverstone today, and so I was able to capture some early gameplay. So this will be part one of a few parts of a bit of a preview of career mode and how that works over one entire race weekend, sort of. So basically, we're going to start off part one, the very start of your career mode, actually booting everything up and looking at the very essential new career mode menus in the game. So we start off here. You saw briefly, I showed you the difficulties. There's now a new difficulty called Ultimate, which is one step harder than Legend. I can tell you later on when I upload eventually some races I did on it, it is very, very tough. It's actually very, very tough. So we'll get to that at some point in a different video. But anyway, I've paused it at a few points here just so you can have a look at all the faces available. I'm pretty sure this is not a final build because all the tracks were not available in Quick Race and stuff like that in this build. So I don't know if they're going to add like other faces on later on into the full game, but at least for this demo build that they gave us of career mode and quick race and stuff like that, these were the faces available. And then we got to the helmets as well. I'm not too sure if they're going to add any more or anything like that, but the thing is with the helmets this year, you can customize the colors. So even though there may be, if this is the final selection, there may be not as many as people want, but you can select all the colors for each part of the helmet. There's like different layers for the helmet that you can choose, which you'll see in a sec because I go through and customize my own helmet, so you can actually personalize it to how you want. But yeah, plenty of faces to choose from there, so hopefully you can just, if you want to actually take a better look, you can just pause the video and just do that instead of me just pausing the video here and making the video longer unnecessarily. So here on the helmet editor, it took me some time to actually figure out which color was which and what I was actually doing, the kind of luminosity and like the saturation and everything like that. Eventually I found it, but yeah, you can change basically three different layers. You know, you got the base, and then you got detail 1 and 2. Obviously for this helmet, detail 1 was these kind of little stripes that go in a circular fashion over the top of the helmet, and then that second detail was the kind of red area, and then the base obviously was the rest of the helmet, which is, I went for like a, I think in the end I went for like a, I think a purplish sort of thing, or maybe a blue thing. I think I went for a blue thing on the base, and then a red top and gold kind of detailing stripes on the top. But yeah, pretty damn cool. Obviously you can make it your own, so I don't think you'll ever end up with the same sort of helmet as anyone else, and I do hope and believe that this might transfer over to multiplayer in some way. I'm not too sure, don't quote me on that, but I'll be hoping that maybe you could do that. That'd be pretty sweet, but I'm not too sure, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, just going through, I think we'll speed this up a little bit as I'm just faffing around with the helmet colors, and we'll go on to the flag, which obviously was the United Kingdom, and then here are the numbers available. Obviously, none of the F1 driver numbers that have been picked by real drivers can be chosen, so and also number 17 by Jules Bianchi was retired, so every other number is available. So I just went with number 4 in the end because I don't know, number 4 just felt like one, because usually my favorite number is number 7, but Kimi Raikkonen had to be a bastard and selected my number, didn't he? So anyway, moving on to the next screen, which is choosing your team. So here I just go slowly through all the teams, and basically you got 3 tiers essentially. You got tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. Mercedes to Red Bull, you want to try and win the championship within 1 to 2 seasons. That's the team objective for you. Then the second tier is pretty much, I think it's 3 to 4 seasons for the championship, and then the last tier is pretty much like 4+ seasons for you to maybe win the championship. But these tiers that I just mentioned for choosing the teams, they're not strict tiers, so it's not going to be like the teams are going to be constrained to these tiers. They will naturally progress with R&D, like I've mentioned before in previous videos, and we'll see it later on in this video. There'll be a nice little screen to show you how that actually works and how it's displayed to you. But basically the tier 1, 2 and 3, they're not fixed. Everyone will move around. Teams could get better or worse, so don't worry about that. And finally, also something that I didn't think you could do, you can actually choose your teammate in this game. I didn't think that was actually possible, but it must have just slipped past me. But you can choose your teammate. But anyway, let's get on to looking at the actual career mode itself, getting into the paddock and getting our first meet at our PR agent.
Hi, I'm Emma Jenkins. I'm a specialist in contract law, and I've been brought in to work as your agent. I'll be working to get you the best deal in the boardroom, which means you need to do the best possible job out there on the circuit. When you get new contract offers, either from new teams or an amendment to your existing offer, it'll come through me. I'll also keep you up to date on discussions behind the scenes to change your terms, or any specific goals that the team has set for you. If a contract offer does come through, I'll present to you the available offers and then you can make the call. I assume that all sounds fine. Well then, good luck this season, and I'll catch you later.
So that was our PR agent, and she comes into play quite a lot in the career mode in terms of just every time you don't meet an objective, or you do, she'll come talk to you about your contract, or just how you're doing, and just give you some encouragement, or, you know, just try and, just give you the hard kind of talk if you're not doing as well as you should. And also towards the end of the season, she'll come in to maybe talk about contracts with other teams. And then here's the laptop, and that's your sort of main hub of your career mode. This is how you go to different sessions and also see how you're doing against your teammate. Speaking of other sessions, let's get into Practice 1 of Australia, and you guys can see the intro for Australia Practice 1.
Welcome to our viewers from around the globe. You join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. I'm here with Anthony Davidson once again. Nice to see you, Ant, and I wanted to ask you about how you go about improving the car over the course of a practice session. How much would you say is already known from the pre-race simulations, and how much do you have to do, how much do you have to work on with a real car on a real circuit?
Well, that's a good question, Crofty, and I suppose the simple answer is that there's no such thing as too much information. As you say, the bigger teams have very complex simulations, vast numbers of clever people crunching the numbers back at base, but what they can't tell you is stuff like how the track condition's going to be, or what the temperature's going to be doing over the course of the day, and how all of that's going to be interacting with the tyre. There are so many millions of tiny variables involved in getting these cars around a racetrack quickly, but the computer can't tailor the car to a driver's specific balance requirements. At some point, you still need to put a human being in there and have them feel it through the seat of their pants. And that's why we end up with different drivers having different setups. So what I'm trying to say is, Crofty, nothing beats on-track testing.
So that was Anthony Davidson and David Croft talking about Practice 1 and a little intro to it. I don't know if it's going to be subject to change for the full game, but we'll see. But anyways, we come on to this next screen. This is what I've been talking about for so long, about how important R&D is now to the game. It's a huge part of career mode now. So you've got track acclimatization, tire management tests, qualifying pace tests, and this is all going to help you earn R&D points. And that R&D points, they're very important because they'll help you upgrade the car and actually improve it. So you can actually take, maybe as an example, Sauber or Manor to the top, or you can try and get Ferrari faster than Mercedes, or the McLaren, with a good engine, improve the speed of the Honda engine, all that jazz. I've paused it at different points so you can just read the description. Maybe if you want to pause the video, just read the description of the little things. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the track acclimatization in full, and then just a little bit of the tire management, but obviously tire management sort of speaks for itself. Tire management, the kind of objective is just you go around for the entire stint. So let's say Super Softs is 4 laps, you go around and try and go above the delta time they set you, so that, it kind of shows you're able to keep your tires well and go at a good pace. But I'll show you the track acclimatization in full, because that's a bit more of a tricky thing to really describe, and you don't really get a gist of it unless you see it in full. But yeah, in terms of the rest of the menu, it's very similar to what it was in the last game of 2015. You get to see all the AI cars go out and practice. You can see the lap times obviously and everything like that. But as we get onto track right now, this is the track acclimatization. So this is basically trying to make a mock-up of basically when drivers do an outlap and get used to the circuit maybe, and try and get a feel for the track. Also for beginners, obviously it might be useful to get used to the track, but for also, people, if you already know the track, like me and you guys, probably a lot of you guys already know all the circuits quite well, it's still just a way for you to feel like you're doing something actually worthwhile in the practice session, because all of these things will earn you R&D points, and it's actually not that easy to get a perfect score. And by perfect score, I mean, you can see there in that first gate it went purple. That means that was a perfect little point sector, and then it went green because I got a little bit out of shape there towards the DRS zone. And then here you'll see I actually lock up, go really wide because I was still getting used to the wheel setup we had there, and I get a red. So it is actually quite a challenge to actually get all purple. I don't think when we tested it in March anyone got full purple, so it is a bit of a challenge there. But yeah, I'll leave you with the gameplay a little bit and so you can actually hear it, and I'll come back after that. So that was the track acclimatization, so you could see the game, said I did a good job and gave me basically another objective. So if you go and beat the second objective it gives you for the score for that R&D session, you can actually get more R&D points. So it will keep on challenging you to keep on trying to get better and better to get more R&D points. So basically the more you put in to the game, the more you get out of it, basically. Which I feel like it should be like that. You know, the more dedicated players who are playing the game the most should be rewarded the most in terms of what they can get out of the career mode. Obviously, you can not do any of this. You can skip all of it, and you will just get a lump sum of R&D points that everyone gets. But to get the actual good amount that you want to maybe get to improve the car properly, you will have to do the stuff. But anyway, in the background there, that was the tyre wear test. I didn't continue to show it because obviously, as I just said, it's just a tyre test. It's probably one of the more boring tests to do, I'll admit, that you just go around and go for a delta time, but I didn't feel like I needed to show you that. But anyway, introduction to our R&D points. Here you go. We get an overview of our points, and soon we'll then get introduced to our R&D engineer, and he'll talk us through how everything goes with the R&D upgrades.
Hi. Good to meet you at last. My name's Chris, and I'll be working with you as your Chief of Vehicle Development. It'll be my job to get your feedback as a driver and to direct our upgrade design in the areas that you feel are most lacking. At each Grand Prix, we can run a series of practice programs and log the performance of the car as you drive it at its limit. This gives us data that we can utilize to develop various performance improvements. In order for me to know which upgrades to prioritize, I'll need you to select a development area that you'd like us to focus on. And you can do that in the R&D section of your laptop. Anyway, that's all for now, but I'll keep you up to date, okay? I'll see you soon.
So that was our R&D engineer, and he'll come later on in the career mode and basically also even give you comparisons between teams and maybe say, okay, Williams, let's say you're in Ferrari like I am right now, he'll say, okay, maybe Williams are catching up to us, we need to spend more on R&D, and he'll try and push you and persuade you to kind of spend those points. But anyway, here is the menu. You can pause it here. I'm going to pause it in the video naturally, so you'll actually get to look at it in a bit more detail. But you can see here the 5 different sections for the R&D, and exactly like I said back in all the way back in March in the videos I made, obviously engine, fuel efficiency, chassis, aerodynamics, and also drag. So you can improve all those areas, as I mentioned, again, like I said, all the way back in March, 5 different kind of levels for each one, and they get progressively more expensive. Just like, Need for Speed or Forza, basically, if you are to upgrade your cars in those games, it's like that. And when you click on it, the Codemasters guys have tried to maybe kind of make it a bit more immersive by giving you an actual thing you can improve. So that was the front wing, turning vane, I think that was, wasn't it? So then it gives you a little timer there, you can see in orange, and that is the timer. That timer fills up, and that's the time it's going to take you to actually have that R&D put onto the car, that actual improvement upgrade onto the car. So it doesn't happen like that. It happens maybe over 2 race weekends, or maybe even 1 race weekend if your team's fast enough. And then on the right hand side, crucially, you can see the little chart for every single team. You can see the lowest team and the top team, Mercedes, right there, and you can take legitimately a Manor and a Sauber right to the top, and you can match that Mercedes bar. You can do it. I've asked the guys at Codemasters. It is possible if you play all your cards right, do a 10 career mode season. It is very, very possible that you can match a Mercedes on that bar. And those bars will fluctuate. Some of the teams will upgrade better than others. The bars can't go down, so a team won't downgrade, but other teams will upgrade faster than they will. So you can see potentially Ferrari going below Williams. Potentially. I mean, it's not very realistic, but potentially that could happen. You could see Mercedes go below Ferrari. If you're playing as McLaren or something, or Manor, you could go ahead of other teams ahead of you, and they won't upgrade as fast. So it's all very, very how do I say it? It all fluctuates very naturally. Much like, FIFA career mode. When you play FIFA, you have transfers coming in and out, teams getting better or worse, and it's exactly like that with the R&D system, and all the AI teams do the exact same thing. The game simulates R&D stuff for them, and basically just randomly picks out if they're going to get, well, not randomly, but you know what I mean. It basically picks out if they're going to get upgrades or not. But that has been part 1 of my little career mode preview of F1 2016. The next part will probably be out tomorrow, and I'll be actually looking at the actual race procedure, the formation lap, manual start and stuff like that. I'll have other videos out later on over the weekend about, you know, full races I've done against AI cars, so you can see that, the damage model, safety car stuff, so that's all going to be there. So guys, if you're new around here, then do get subscribed for all those stuff and early F1 2016 gameplay. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you could smash that like button. Let me know what you thought of it all in the comments below. Hopefully you guys are excited for those videos to come in the next, you know, few days. And I've been over. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time.